Port Charles has always been a city full of second chances, shocking betrayals, and dramatic reconciliations. But when it comes to the Quartermain family, the question of forgiveness has never been easy. Over the decades, this proud, powerful, and often dysfunctional family has fought as fiercely with each other as they have with their enemies. But one name always brings both chaos and reluctant admiration to the Quartermain mansion: Tracy Quartermain. Now that Tracy has once again found herself back in the thick of family affairs, the question burning in fans' minds is simple. Should the Quartermains have stayed on the outs with her? Has Tracy really earned her way back into the fold, or is her presence just another ticking time bomb waiting to explode within the family walls? Tracy Quartermain, the matriarch of mayhem. Let's face it, Tracy Quartermain is not your average soap matriarch. She's not the doting grandmother or the endlessly forgiving mother. She's sharp-tongued, unapologetically scheming, and always playing three-dimensional chess when everyone else is barely learning checkers. From the moment Jane Elliott first stepped into the role in 1978, Tracy became the embodiment of the Quartermain legacy: ambitious, cunning, and deeply loyal to the Quartermains, not necessarily the people in it. Her greatest love has always been the family fortune and the family name, though she's shown flashes of vulnerability that remind us there's a heart beating under all that designer armor. But time and again, Tracy's tough love approach has alienated her kin. Whether she was manipulating ELQ stock, throwing her relatives out of the mansion, or weaponizing secrets to maintain control, her methods have been as destructive as they are effective. So when she returned to Port Charles recently, embroiled in schemes involving Martin, Monica's will, and even a house she may or may not deserve, it was natural for fans and family alike to wonder, can she really be trusted? Family feuds and old wounds. To understand why some of the Quartermains might prefer keeping Tracy at arm's length, one only needs to look at her long list of betrayals. She once blackmailed her own father, Edward. She's lied to her sons, Dylan and End, on countless occasions. And who can forget when she literally withheld her father's heart medication during one of her most ruthless phases? That history doesn't fade easily, especially in a family that's already fractured. ELQ battles, inheritance wars, and personal grudges have always defined the Quartermain household. Even when they try to unite, whether for a wedding, a will reading, or Thanksgiving dinner, chaos inevitably erupts. Tracy's return just seems to amplify the dysfunction. Her most recent stint only reignited old tensions. Monica, ever the moral center of the clan, has often clashed with Tracy's manipulative tactics. Drew and Michael, who have both worked to stabilize ELQ in recent years, have little patience for Tracy's power plays. And Brooke Lynn, who's caught between loyalty and love, often finds herself the unwilling pawn in Tracy's games. So should they have welcomed her back with open arms, or locked the Quartermain gates? The case for cutting ties. If you ask most of Port Charles, the Quartermains would be safer without Tracy's brand of tough love. Her return has already caused tension between Monica and the rest of the family, thanks to the revelations surrounding Monica's real will, a twist that Tracy handled with her signature mix of entitlement and ruthlessness. And while she claims her actions are for the good of the family, history proves that Tracy often defines good as whatever keeps her in power. From a purely practical standpoint, the family might have benefited from distancing themselves. ELQ has enough drama without internal sabotage. The next generation, Michael, Brooke Lynn, and Drew, deserve a chance to rebuild the Quartermain name without Tracy's constant meddling. Her presence keeps the family in perpetual turmoil, where progress is impossible because old wounds keep reopening. Tracy's problem has always been that she confuses manipulation with love. She believes that control equals protection. And while that might have been her survival strategy for decades, it's also what's kept her isolated and distrusted, even by the people she claims to protect. But then again, what's a Quartermain without Tracy? On the other hand, can we really imagine the Quartermains without Tracy? She's the last of a dying breed, fierce, unyielding, and utterly unapologetic. Her wit cuts through the sanctimony that often plagues the rest of the family. Tracy doesn't sugarcoat, she doesn't play nice. But when the chips are down, she's often the first one to protect the family's reputation, even if it means getting her hands dirty. Underneath her barbed remarks and scheming exterior, Tracy truly loves her family. Her bond with End, despite their rocky past, has always been heartfelt. Her affection for Brooke Lynn shines through in her pride, even if she expresses it in the most exasperating ways. And her sparring with Monica, well, that's not just rivalry, it's history. It's love disguised as competition, born from decades of shared triumphs and losses. In truth, the Quartermaines need Tracy as much as she needs them. Without her, the family dynamic loses its edge. She's the spark that ignites the story, the unpredictable force that reminds us that this family's greatness lies not in perfection, but in perseverance. When Tracy storms into a room, she brings with her the ghost of Edward, the wit of Leela, and the entire legacy of what the Quartermaine name means. She embodies everything messy, complicated, and magnificent about General Hospital's most iconic dynasty. Forgiveness, the Quartermaine way. If there's one thing General Hospital has taught fans, it's that forgiveness is never simple. It's earned through chaos, tears, and the occasional Thanksgiving meltdown. The Quartermaines, for all their dysfunction, have always had an unspoken rule. Family comes first, after the yelling, after the scheming, after the lawsuits. Tracy may cross every line imaginable, but she's still one of them. She's a Quartermaine through and through. And while her actions often drive her loved ones to the brink, her eventual attempts at redemption always strike a chord. Whether it's helping ELQ recover, standing by End in crisis, or offering begrudging affection when it matters most, Tracy finds her way back to her family's heart, even if it's through the side door. So should they have stayed on the outs? Maybe they should have, for their own peace, for their sanity, for ELQ's balance sheet. But then, the Quartermaines wouldn't be the Quartermaines without a little chaos. Tracy brings conflict, but she also brings life. Her presence keeps the family sharp, honest, and united, if only in their collective exasperation. In a strange, soap operatic way, her turbulence reminds them who they are. Survivors who thrive on drama, sarcasm, and love hidden behind biting words. So no, the Quartermaines shouldn't have stayed on the outs with Tracy. Because for all her flaws, she's family. And in Port Charles, family isn't about being perfect. It's about coming back time and time again, no matter how many times the doors have slammed shut. Final verdict. The Quartermaines need Tracy Quartermaine as much as she needs them. She's the living heartbeat of their history, the storm that never quite clears, and the reason General Hospital fans can't stop watching this gloriously dysfunctional family unravel and rebuild, one scandal at a time.